Okay, this video is called Vegan Sickness and Death versus in Other People. And the reason I'm making this video is I've had some viewers say to me things like, look what happened to Dr. McDougall. You know, he's only 77 years old when he died. Look at, Hans Deal died not that long ago, and there's been some other high-profile vegans who've gotten cancer and, at a relatively young age. And maybe this vegan diet doesn't really work so well. Is it really worth all that effort? And what I would tell you is, there's individual isolated examples that may not seem to fit the pattern, but the general pattern is the average American is fat, sick, and stupid by the time they're 60 years old. Ask any doctor who sees a lot of patients. Most Americans, they're quite pathetic by the time they're 60. They're sort of fat. When I say they're stupid, what I mean is, they're still able to find their way home, but they're mentally slow. They can't handle any nuance. You ask them a question, they don't really get it. And so what I'm saying is, your life is pretty limited once you're mentally slow. You really can't enjoy things with full vigor. Another thing is, the majority of American men are impotent by the time they're 50, okay? So you don't want to be impotent. You avoid atherosclerosis by eating a low-fat vegan diet. You'll keep the Johnson working a long time. Another thing is not all deaths are due to diet. Not all sickness is due to diet. People can die from trauma and cancer and some other diseases not related to diet. Genetic diseases are uncommon. Genetic vulnerabilities do happen where some people are just more vulnerable to cancer for whatever the reason. And they can also have toxic exposures, to a lot of things that'll increase their risk of cancer potentially. But one of the things you'll notice is, look at Dr. McDougall. He was totally mentally sharp, the same week that he died. And you'll see that in a lot of these other vegans who've got cancer and other conditions. They're totally mentally sharp, whereas the average patient is not over 60. They're mentally slow. And I've had internal medicine doctor friends tell me every single one of their patients over 60 is mentally slow. And also then the other question is, do vegans live longer? Yes, they do. If you look at the vegans from one of the Seventh-day Adventist study, they were the best documented, longest lived people in the world. Okay, and Dr. McDougall worked with that population, and he said they could have been healthier because they were vegans because of religious reasons of the Seventh-day Adventist religion, rather than they were not specifically health vegans. Okay, religion, of course, too, makes people healthier. It encourages community. It helps see meaning in life, give meaning to life. And, religious families are much less likely to get divorced. There's a lot of benefits to it. Okay, other good examples of vegans are, look at Dr. Esselstyn and Campbell. They're both mentally sharp, around 90 years of age, giving lectures and whatnot. The famous Dr. Ellsworth Wareham, the Seventh-day Adventist, he lived to be 104 years old. He's another good example of these mentally sharp old vegans. Okay, so what I'm basically trying to say is, even if you're a low-fat vegan, you're still eventually going to get sick and die, but you're probably going to be mentally sharp up until the end. It's also good to exercise. Ruth Heidrich, the famous vegan who survived metastatic breast cancer over 40 years, she had noticed that amongst her friends that run a lot, she said not a single one of them, she never saw one of these long-distance runners ever get Alzheimer's dementia. Let's just say dementia. Dr. McDougall, again, was totally mentally sharp up until he died. Other vegans with cancer and other problems are usually mentally sharp in their elder years. So basically, there's a concept of lifespan. How long do you live? But there's also the concept of health span, meaning how long are you healthy before you die? So if you have a low-fat vegan who dies at 80 years of age, and you have a regular SAD diet, Mediterranean diet type person who dies at 80 years of age, it is likely that the low-fat vegan was mentally sharp up until the time they died, okay, versus the SAD diet eater, the high-fat Mediterranean diet with meat and all that stuff. They probably had many years of mental decline before the time of their death. So it's definitely a winner to go down this path, okay? I see this all the time, and you'll see it lots of times. People who are fat and not doing so well, diabetic, hypertensive, coronary artery disease, they go low-fat vegan, then they're skinny, energetic, and mentally sharp, okay? There's no other way to reverse that. So anyways, just wanted to make it clear that the low-fat vegan diet is definitely the best thing with no oils. But it doesn't mean you're going to live forever. But it does mean you're going to live and be as healthy as you possibly can be. I studied this for 30 years, and this is the best I can tell you. I want to know these answers for myself, for my patients too. This is the best you could do. I really don't care about all this philosophical stuff. I just want to get to the truth about health. And as far as I can tell, low fat, low sodium, 100% vegan, even low protein, no oils, all organic, whole foods only, single ingredient foods only, none of these sweets, none of this soda pop, none of this flour, no artificial sweeteners, no alcohol, no tobacco, no medications. The only thing I take is vitamin B12 methylcobalamin. As far as I can tell from extensive study, that's the best you can do in terms of health. Also, to get your sunshine, get your exercise, get your sleep, maintain friendships, family relationships, social support system, have a religion. Religious people are a lot healthier. Do something positive, have a sense of purpose in your life, because that makes you more resilient. It gives you the energy to withstand all the inevitable disappointment, sadness, and suffering that's part of life. But you can cope with it better because you also have something that makes it worthwhile to endure all that. So I hope that was helpful.